January 2nd, 2010. Subject: these two went together. Forward, Photoshop, from the Madman to who knows. H1N1. There are dozens of agencies and departments working on this case, and those that feed information directly or indirectly to the CIA, I simply call them all CIA, because 'twould be futile to try and identify each one. Not to mention at least several major movie producers and news channels, and the hundreds of reporters from the many medias I've connected with the past several years. These all connect every time I get on the internet. 'Twas obvious your mother has been stung by the CIA. From the zombie look she displayed, 'twas the same facial and body expressions that Johnny showed. Bush and Vane tried to start a disease epidemic with those few polio cases, or another disease. Can't remember the name, that happened approximately a year before he left office, but the incubation period was too short, so it failed. Just a couple of months into office, Obama tries the same thing with the swine flu H1N1. That was the only reason he went to visit Mexico, just to deliver the active H1N1 virus to their president at that time, because he had been told by some translators that this was the next big thing to happen, so he was artificially trying to induce this plague on the planet. He's just off by one step, though. The obvious problem the world has at this time is, of course, overpopulation by over 5 billion. This problem has to be rectified, and soon. Otherwise, the whole planet will suffocate in less than 25 years. There are many who are aware of this absolute fact. The biggest warm-blooded animal that I can see be able to survive this polluted air situation we have today, and is only going to get much worse tomorrow, is rats. These are actually potentially very deadly diseases, but because they have actually been created in a laboratory by combining other diseases that actually do not normally occur in nature, these have not been developed or evolved with the correct DNA necessary to produce the desired results that these mighty chemists have vainly predicted and dreamed of. About a year ago, a certain female realtor was murdered in Saanich. For a few months I didn't make the connection, but when I was told of the owner of the property that she was trying to sell, then it did hit home. This was a senseless killing performed by the Saanich police itself. 'Twas only to appease a certain Mr. Albert, because he was having real difficulty in understanding the theory of a phantom, because he had just experienced one just several days before. Part of a lesson on Nostradamology I was explaining to him at the time. I actually explained this phenomenon to him in some detail. But because of decades of misconception and really bad dogmas, mentally it was just unacceptable to him. Even though phantoms happen quite naturally and all the time, to many people, less effort than it takes to blink an eye. These phantoms can even take the shape of any animal or simply an inanimate object of any kind. An extreme case, perhaps a part of a vacuum, that may only work for a certain period of time for a precise location and an exact reason. However, most people prefer not to acknowledge them, and yet science spends so much on holograms, which are similar in theory but lacking in substance. They serve many useful purposes ordinarily, except when Chris or his elite team take charge. If you only had a small idea of the valuable information that I had freely given him so that he could, unbeknownst to me, share with the CIA, you would understand that Albert had to be pleased and mentally stabilized, because at that particular time he was very important to them. He was visibly traumatized by that experience. By the way, this is exactly the same experience that everyone sees when you watch any, and particularly all of Mr. Chris Angel's shows. He has taken a simple perception to many extremes, really beyond people's capable mental acceptance of what is really happening. For instance, the show when he supposedly walked on water? Not possible, just as in Jesus' time. However, your phantom double could, because a phantom can have any and all attributes required to perform that particular task, or a continuation for a limited time of 4 days tops. Hence the resurrection, which never happened because he never died on the cross. Only his phantom double did. Perhaps Chris did not know this, or maybe his mother forgot to inform him. She certainly taught him an incredible trick. Phantomhoodness. If he realized this, I'm sure he would have created some incredible shows about it. Perhaps you saw the show where he gets buried in snow. 6 feet, no less. For about 20 minutes.